What is currently happening in the Nashville real estate market? Well, our temperatures are continuing to heat up and our market doesn't look to be cooling down anytime soon. So if you are thinking about making a move, then you're gonna wanna stay tuned, because in today's video, I'm talking about what we're seeing, where we're headed, are we in a bubble, talking about all the things that you need to know if you're thinking about making a move. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent, and I specialize in helping savvy sellers who want to sell right and sell smart, as well as helping out-of-staters looking to relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content. So in today's video, we're talking about the current state of the Nashville real estate market as of April 2022. As you probably already know, if you are thinking about making a move to the Nashville area, we continue to be on fire. We are very much in a predominant seller's market, which means that we have very high demand and very low supply. So homes that do hit the market tend to be getting multiple offers, going exceedingly over list price. So today's video, we're going to be talking about Williamson County and what you can expect within Williamson County if you are thinking about making a move. So let's address a few things first before we dive into the numbers. So one thing that I continue to hear people say is, are we in a bubble? Or I'll just wait until the real estate market slows down. Here's the thing, we are not in a bubble. So I know that a lot of times people can assume that based on what has happened in the past. However, you have to look at several factors, and the factors that contribute to a bubble bursting before just are not present in today's market. So again, people want to talk about, well, okay, with what we're seeing, could it be a bunch of foreclosures coming down the pike? Here's the thing. You have to understand, again, Nashville, and for reasons that we're about to get into, Nashville continues to be one of the it cities. So even if somebody is behind on payments in their home, or if somebody is needing to sell for financial reasons because they're in a financial hard spot, they're most likely going to be getting over asking price. They're not going to be upside down in their home and be losing money on the sale of their home. Now, in May of 2020, we actually started to see a steady increase in the demand of people looking to relocate here from out of state. And that demand only increased. Now, in February of 2021, buyers who were looking to secure a home in Franklin in February of 2021, they were able to secure a home going about 10 to 15 grand over asking price. Then March of 2021 came along and the market just exploded in the Williamson County area in general, especially Franklin and Brentwood. So what we saw was from February, when you go 10 or 15 grand over to get a home, by middle of March of 2021, it had hit 75,000, 100,000 plus over asking. And we continue to see that very much in this market. Now, in the fall, we had a little bit of, we saw a little bit of a dip, but it has picked right back up. And so now, again, we continue to see that heavy out-of-state demand looking to relocate here. And so, again, that is continuing to drive prices. So that does beg the question, are we in a bubble? Is this going to burst? Here's the thing. A bubble happens when you see very much the conditions of what we have seen. So when prices have risen rapidly, which we saw, especially we've continued to see over the last year. But then what happens is supply in a bubble eventually catches up, which then causes a crash in home prices. Here's the thing. We still do not have nearly enough inventory to satisfy the huge demand that we are seeing. And here's the thing, you have to take a look at, you have to almost take like a 50,000 foot view of this when you're trying to decide, are we in a bubble? So if you're looking at our economic factors, we are anticipated to have another 200,000 people relocate to the Middle Tennessee area by 2025. So we are going to continue to see strong demand because that means that you're looking at about 109 people moving here a day. And so what we had seen prior to the pandemic, we had been averaging at about 47 people a day. And that was actually down from where a couple years prior, we were actually averaging about 100 people a day. So as you can see, we are continuing to expect to see massive demand. And as you probably know, builders are dealing with supply chain issues. So they are not able to crank out the homes anywhere near the kind of pace that we need them to crank them out in order to catch up to the kind of demand that we are seeing and that we anticipate to see. And not only is it something that's in the short-term view, it's actually in the longer-term view as well in terms of the demand. So the University of Tennessee actually put out a study recently that said that by the year 2040, another 1 million people are expected to move to the state of Tennessee. And about 560,000 of those people are landing here in Middle Tennessee. So as you can see, and you may be asking yourself, why? Well, we continue to have several companies relocating their headquarters here. Just last year, we had 15 major companies announced that they were relocating their headquarters, which means as they bring the companies, they're bringing jobs, they're bringing people. So we continue to have these really strong economic factors that continue to drive our economy. Here's another great statistic. So this comes from the Chamber of Commerce here in Nashville. So as you know, in the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs, were laid off because of what was happening. Now, out of all of the states in the US, out of all 50 states, 13 of those states have actually recovered all of the jobs that were lost in those individual states during the pandemic. And Tennessee is one of those 13 states that has recovered all of those jobs, which is great. Our job economy here is healthy and moving forward. As of February 2022, our unemployment rate was sitting at 2.7%. So that is well below the national average. So we just have so much going for us, and we continue to draw people in to the Middle Tennessee area. People are attracted to the brand of Nashville because you get the appeal of a lot of big city living without being a true massive city on the scale of like LA or New York or Chicago. So there's a lot going for Nashville. And so with that, it's going to continue to bring people here. The studies keep supporting the fact that people are gonna move here. And because there's gonna be that demand, and we know that the supply is not going to catch up nearly enough to be able to satisfy that demand to where it could cause a bubble to burst. At the end of the day, it doesn't look like a bubble is anywhere in the near future for the Middle Tennessee area. So no, we're not dealing with a bubble. So if you are thinking about making a move, Nashville is an incredible city and now is the time to move. So we're actually gonna take a look at numbers so that you have an idea of what to expect if you are thinking about making a move here. We are gonna be looking at all of Davidson County in comparison to Franklin, Brentwood, and Nolensville specifically, and all three of those are located inside of Williamson County. So let's go ahead and take a look at those numbers. All right, so when we're talking about numbers, let's first talk about the big general picture. So like I've said, we've had this really high demand and this low supply. However, despite that, we actually saw a 0.5% uptick in the number of closings in March of 2022 compared to March of 2021. And as I mentioned previously in this video, you know that March of 2021 was when our real estate market started exploding last year, and it really hasn't stopped since. So that just speaks to the fact that despite the fact that home prices continue to rise, people are still moving here, people are still closing on homes, and we actually did see a slight increase over the number of closings that we saw in March of 2021. Now we're gonna take a look at the average home sale price. This may give you a little bit of sticker shock, but I'm gonna show you anyways. So just prepare yourself. Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at what the average home sale price in Franklin was in March of 2022. be prepared for some sticker shock. So the average home sale price in Franklin in March of 2022 was $1,004,011. That is up 36.7% from March of last year. And let's actually, just to compare, let's actually look at what the average home sale price in March of 2021 was in Franklin. So take a look. It was actually $734,601. So as you can see, Franklin is in high demand and we are continuing to see home prices soar in Franklin. But let's also take a look at both Brentwood and Nolensville. So first up, Brentwood, let's take a look at what the average home sale price was in March of 2022. And it was $1,261,668. That's up 31.9% from last year. And actually, let's compare it to what March of 2021, what the average home sale price was then. And that was $956,639. Now let's look at Nolensville. This is gonna seem like a little bit of a breath of fresh air compared to Franklin and Brentwood, but let's take a look. So in March of 2022, the average home sale price in Nolensville was $678,081. That's up 19.6% from last year. And again, for fun, let's go ahead and throw up the number for March of 2021 in Nolensville, and that was $566,899. So as you can see, the average home sale price has risen dramatically in these three areas, right? Okay, and then let's actually just compare that real quick before we move on. Let's actually compare that to Davidson County, what the average home sale price for a single family home, and granted, all of these numbers are for single family homes. So let's take a look at what it was in Davidson County in March 2022. The average home sale price was $429,157. That's an increase of 19.2%. And if we are taking a look at what the average home sale price in Davidson County was of March 2021, the average home sale price was $360,000. So as you can see, home prices continue to rise across the board. And as you can tell, Franklin has seen a dramatic jump in the average home sale price. And as you can tell, Franklin has seen one of the most dramatic home sale price jumps if you're comparing it across the board. Okay, so we have talked about the average home sale prices in these various areas of town. So let's take a look at some other really interesting statistics. So this is InfoSparks. This is coming straight from our RealTrax MLS system. So let's take a look. As you can see, we've got Davidson County, Franklin, Brentwood, and Nolensville. You can see that this is covering all price ranges of single family homes in Davidson, Franklin, Brentwood, and Nolensville. So this is the median days on market. And so as you can see, these numbers are bananas. So you can see Davidson, Franklin, Brentwood, Nolensville, across the board, the median days on market is 2 to 3 days. And as you can see, this is a dramatic decrease from even March of 2021. So if we scroll back, because the cool thing about this InfoSparks program is that we are able to track it back and see the way that it was looking in the various months. So we can take it back to March of 2021, just a year ago. And yes, you know, you're seeing 5 and 4 and 9 days here. And so, but this is just speaking to, this was when our market exploded last year. So even if we want to track that into April, you know, we're looking at 4 to 8 days here. Just because anything that would have gone under contract in March was most likely closing in April. You can take a look at that and compare. So again, we're just seeing, as you can see in this graph, we just continue to see that if a home hits the market, it's gone in a weekend, which is something that we are very much seeing across the board. Typically, homes will get listed on a Thursday or Friday with all offers due by Sunday or Monday, and then a decision made either Monday or Tuesday. So another interesting statistic for us to look at is going to be the average percent of list price. So of the list price, how much did it sell for, right? So take a look. As you can see, Davidson County, Franklin, Brentwood, Nolensville, all are selling for over list price. Of course, you're gonna have those outlier properties that do sit a little bit longer because there's generally something not as appealing to them. However, if a home is priced right, marketed well, it is selling in a weekend with multiple offers, and as you can see, it is going over list price. Now, if you're wondering if you're looking at jumping in and purchasing here in the Nashville area, whether it's Brentwood, Franklin, Nolensville, if you are considering it, I know a lot of times people will ask me, okay, Caitlin, well, how much should I plan to go over? Here's the thing. We can look at these numbers all day long, but community to community, it varies. And so that's something that as we're looking to put an offer in on something, I'm going to be talking to the list agent, getting a feel for what the competition is, because that factors into how much over you would go. Of course, we're going to be looking at what the average over list price is in that community. There's going to be several factors that are going to play into it, but just prepare yourself that if you're going for a home that has just hit the market in any of these communities, you're going to be going over list price. So that, again, how much over will depend on the community and the competition, but I always feel like it's good to preface it to just know this is still very much a strong market. And then let's take a look at price per square foot, because this is a question that I deal with often and I get asked often. So as you can see here, so again, take note that this is taking into account all price ranges. So you'll notice that as a certain number, these averages are going to change. So taking into consideration all price ranges, you can see here, Davidson County, the average price per square foot is $259. In Franklin, it's $301. In Brentwood, it's $285. In Nolensville, it's $231. But let's play with these numbers just a little bit. So in Davidson County, as you can see, the way that this is broken down, you're gonna have most price ranges in Davidson County are gonna fall at this $498, $990. And below, this is all going to typically keep you right there. So if you say all price ranges, you can see there it's $259. Now, if you jump to this $499 and above, that's a dramatic increase. Now we're sitting at $317 a square foot. Let's take a look at Franklin. So Franklin, again, this is taking into consideration all price ranges, but you start to see a noticeable jump in the price per square foot once you pass this $811,999 mark. So at $812, now take a look, you're sitting at $354. So again, just take a look, you're at $301 for all price ranges, but you hit that $812. Now you're looking closer to that $351 in Franklin. Let's take a look at Brentwood. In Brentwood, the average price per square foot is the $285, but in Brentwood, you're really gonna look at a difference once you hit that 1.1 million mark. So watch where it goes. It goes from 285 to 338 once you hit that 1.1 million and above mark. And then of course, let's pop over here to Nolensville. So again, that's at 231. And then when you get to that basically 659 and above, then you're going to be jumping to 250. That one is not nearly as dramatic. As you can see through these statistics, Nolensville seems to be more level than, say, Brentwood or Franklin. Here's the thing though, in case you don't know, Nolensville still falls within Williamson County, just like Brentwood and Franklin, although I will tell you, Brentwood and Nolensville, each one of those towns does have a slight portion of it that falls into Davidson County, so that does make a difference. However, the majority of Nolensville and the majority of Brentwood do fall within Williamson County. So hopefully these statistics have been helpful for you. Okay, so I know that a lot of this can be sticker shock looking at these numbers. Here's a couple of things to know if you are considering making a move to the Middle Tennessee area. Yes, we are very much in a seller's market and it can be tough to buy in, and I get it and I understand it. That's why it's really, really important if you are considering making a move that you make sure that you choose an agent for you that you like, that you feel like you get along with, and who knows how to win in a multiple offer situation. This is incredible incredibly crucial to your success in finding a home. Here's the thing. Each situation that you may walk into, each multiple offer situation is going to be different, and the competition is going to be different. However, you need an agent who knows how to correctly stack an offer to make sure that you are putting your very best foot forward. And here's the thing, I've had clients where the first house, the first offer, boom, went out, and it's incredible. But then I've had some where it has taken a couple of tries, just solely because you're up against different competition on different properties. But you wanna make sure that you have somebody who is a fighter for you, because that's absolutely what it takes to be a successful buyer in this market. Because ultimately, if you wanna move here, I want you to be able to move here. I don't want you to be discouraged. Just know it's probably gonna take some patience and some perseverance, but if this is where you wanna be, it's all going to be worth it when you land that home. Now, here's the thing. Some people will say to me, well, Caitlin, like, I wanna buy, but you know, I wanna wait until the market slows down. As we've already talked about, with the demand that we know is coming down the way over the next decade plus, it's not going down anytime soon. And we can't forget to address interest rates as we're talking about buying in Nashville, right? So yes, interest rates have gone up, which, you know, makes it hard because of course, as the interest rates go up, the buying power does go down. And so what it would cost you for the same house a couple months ago, it's now gonna be more expensive now, not only with home appreciation, but also because of interest rates, right? Here's the thing, and I know that a lot of people will say, well, that's like the super realtor salesy thing to say, and that's not what I'm trying to say by any means. This is what I believe. This is what I believe is in people's best interest, right? So if you want to buy, I suggest buying sooner rather than later, because interest rates are predicted to rise up to 6 times this year, which means that the longer you wait, the more that's going to cost you in terms of your monthly payment. And so that is something to consider. Also, we know home values are going to continue to rise because we know the demand is here and we just can't match the supply to the demand. So we know that homes are going to continue to appreciate. And so the same home, what you could get it for now versus what you could get it for 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, it's going to go up. I mean, just look at what the average home sale price did from March of 2021 to March 2022 in Franklin. You can see that they continue to go up. And so here's something to consider is that if you want to get in, it is going to be sooner. It's going to be better to do it sooner rather than later, because you will have the opportunity. Because if interest rates still keep going up, the best time to buy was going to be yesterday, but the next best time is today, because ultimately the longer you wait, it is going to end up costing you more money down the road. And so if you want to be here, I want you to be here, and I want it to make financial sense for you. And here's the thing, and I know that we just talked about the Franklin home sale prices, but I have clients who bought in Franklin last year who are already in 1 year sitting on 200 grand of equity, which is insane, right? But think about it. If you bought now, what kind of equity would you be sitting on a year from now? These are all just things to think about and to consider, because it is with the way the market is predicted in the Middle Tennessee area to grow over the next decade plus, you have the ability to build incredible equity in your home. Now, our home price is going to dramatically increase year over year. I don't think it's going to increase at that rate. That's not a real sustainable rate, but they will continue to go up, which means you again have the ability to really build that equity, which is a great thing. So if you are thinking about making a move, please don't hesitate to reach out. All of my contact information is below. I also have my free Nashville relocation guide. It's linked down below. Feel free to click it and grab it. Hopefully that'll help you. But again, if you have any questions or you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. My team and I would love to help you. My name is Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.